Hi everyone, this is Philippa from British History Tours, and I wanted to do a little video for you because I've just taken my daughter to school and she's reading Richard III, the Shakespeare play, shortened version for children, and I've been giving her the context of the story because I think that's really important to understand Richard III, and I went into a little bit about Shakespeare as well. So Richard III was beaten at the Battle of Bosworth by Henry Tudor. Now, Henry Tudor had a very dubious claim to the English throne. Whether you like the Tudors or not, that is the fact of the matter. His lineage was dubious, but he knew this. He knew this, and he spent all of his reign coming up with ways of creating a lineage, creating the symbol. You get the Tudor rose. That is Henry VII's invention, where he laid the Lancaster and the rose on top of the York, giving them equal sort of symbolism, equal weight. So he's really aware of this. So you have Henry VII. He's taken the throne from Richard III. And he knows that really he hasn't got that much of a claim to throne, and he has to create one. Okay, so the story begins, helped by, I suppose, circumstance at the time. We'll never really truly know what happened. Maybe one day we will, maybe not in our lifetime. But that Richard III was a tyrannical king who will go to the lengths of killing his nephews that he's been charged with the care of. He'll kill them to get the throne, and England needs saving from a man like that. And Henry Tudor has done that. Thank you, Henry. Brilliant. So you have Henry Tudor, who's become Henry VII, and he's going to hammer home this story. Elements of it may be true. We don't know. That's by the by, really, for this purpose, for what I'm talking about today. But that's a great backstory. Okay, then you have Henry VII. So then you have Henry VIII, and then you have his Henry's three children in succession. So you have Edward VI, who's his son. So obviously he comes first. That was Jane Seymour's son. Then you have Mary I, who was the daughter of Catherine of Aragon, Henry VIII's first wife. And then you have Elizabeth I, who was the daughter of Anne Boleyn. Now, Elizabeth, on top of the dubious Tudor lineage to deal with, also had the fact that many people believed that the marriage of her mother and father wasn't valid, and therefore she was illegitimate. So Elizabeth has got issues of, making sure that people really love her. Luckily for Elizabeth, maybe fortunately, she had the same red hair as her father, and she did evoke memories of her father when people saw her, so that did help. But anyway, Shakespeare was writing in the time of Elizabeth. So you have the fact that Shakespeare's writing plays to please his monarch and certainly not annoy her. So Richard III is perfect. So there's one other thing to think about, though. Shakespeare, this is a crude comparison, is kind of equivalent to today's EastEnders or Coronation Street writers, in that he needed to get bums on seats. He needed to create plays that people were going to come and see week after week. So he had to change them. He had to write them quickly, and he had to write things that people were going to come and see. So it was for entertainment. All his plays are for entertainment. So even his histories, they're for entertainment. And then you have to think about the political context that he was writing in as well. So I hope that's been interesting and fun. And if you want to know more about, I've written a really short blog on what does Richard III owe to Shakespeare. That's on my website at britishhistorytours.com. And there's also a blog about Shakespeare himself, which is quite interesting. And there's a podcast on Shakespeare, which you can find our podcast on iTunes under British History Tours, or my name, Philippa Bruhl. And so, yeah, you can go off and have a listen to those if you found this interesting. Otherwise, I'll see you soon. Bye.